What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. I am AJ Gills. Guys, how's it going? We are back with Pyre. This is last video. We beat out the Fate. We beat them out and earned Shay her freedom. So she's now kicking it up there with Hedwyn. Volfred's out doing something, so we're just gonna be biding our time. We have returned to a place of respite. Please make yourselves comfortable, such as you can. We are at the mercy of the stars, but I expect they shall shine bright again in time. As for me, I shall return by then, for there's something I must do. There, from atop the sacred mountain, you gaze down into the abyss that is the downside. You wonder when the stars shall align themselves once more. I apologize if it seems like I'm yelling in this video. I am using my new microphone. Everything, I've talked about this in a few other videos. So, some of the characters' voices, I'm a little animated. So if I'm a little loud, I apologize. And also, sorry if you're picking up my air conditioner in the background. It's just too goddamn hot to not use it. There upon the sacred mountain, you and your companions once more await the night. The stars begin to shine again. The plan of which you are all a part is set in motion. The Commonwealth, a nation that stood almost for 1,000 years, is in turmoil. If your companions return there, through the liberation rites, what sort of place shall they be coming back to? Many moons pass. One evening, amid a downpour with no interest whatsoever in relenting, Volfred requests everybody to convene. You understand he has an announcement of some sort. Soon everyone is assembled, and Volfred regards the group. Everyone, there's an aspect of our plan which I've not talked about with you at length. Look around at your companions. What do you see in them? He lets the question hang a moment in the air. I'll tell you what I see in all of you, in all of us. I see in all of us a living vision of the 8 scribes themselves, each one among them hailing from the different tribes which later formed our Commonwealth. My observation does not come from pompousness, I think. Rather, I believe the scribes themselves desired, or shall I say, desire, such a course. Together they created all the ceremony of which we're now a part. The exiles, liberated through their rites, went on to found the Commonwealth based on their values and their teachings. Thus, an instrumental aspect of our plan is to embody the spirit and the culture from which the Commonwealth arose so many centuries ago. That way, when we are all united on the other side in solidarity, the people all shall see that we reflect the values they yet cherish in their hearts, not merely our own. Anyway, we are still missing one key perspective on behalf of Molten Melite, I can never pronounce her name, fourth of the 8 scribes of the Book of Rites, known as the Impassioned or the Wild Witch. The Mistress of Fire and Dust claimed she could shatter the world with a flick of her wrist. And I happen to know a certain bog dweller, who I think shall fit the part most splendidly, indeed. He motions for someone to approach. A certain bog dweller slithers forward. You recognize her straight away. It is my pleasure to introduce to you, dear old friend of mine, whom I believe you've met. Welcome to the Nightwings. Bertrude. The bog dweller, called Big Bertrude, utters something guttural by way of greeting. We are to understand that ye require further aid from us. Yes, dear Bertrude, the time has come. Bertrude here is far and away the most accomplished alchemist whom I have ever met. You soon will find that she knows much about the rites as well. Bertrude looks you and your fellow exiles each in turn. We frighten ye, apparently. Everyone is silent as Bertrude searches their expressions. Then tremble, small ones, and hold well thy tongues, lest we remove them. She takes her leave without another word. Please excuse Bertrude's blunt manner. I guarantee she shall more than make up for it. Everyone disperses. It seems now that the ranks of the Nightwings are complete. Bertrude joined the group. You sense her powerful presence. Welcome her aboard. Now then, my boy, perhaps you notice that the stars are bright once more. Up there behind those stubborn rains, meaning it is time that we go back to business. We got back to business. Indeed, once more, several stars shine bright within the cold and stormy sky. The stars themselves await the will of the Nightwings. Choose your path towards salvation. Alright, let's see here. Alright, we have Horus the Azure Star and the Tempers. The Tempers are led by the Demon Ignarius. Record is 1-0 against them. Go to the Bog and take on Barker. We're 2-0 against them. The Dissonance and Jamur. We haven't gone toe-to-toe with this guy yet. Let's see here. Let's look at the planner. 3 rights until the next one. Alright. Let's see here. Yeah, right now the Chastity are in second place right now. Sorry, I'm trying to think what I want to do. Yeah, I think I want to knock down the Chastity. They're right now they're 7-4 against us, so I'd like to give them another loss. Plus, I haven't had a second match against them, so that means, unlike Barker, you know, because Barker's Triumvirate would be stronger this time. So let's go take on Chastity. Excuse me. The Chastity and Old Manly. He is without shame, the product of corruption that now festers in the Commonwealth. You and Volford then go over what he knows of your next adversaries. H. Manly Tinderstouth, the offspring of a semi-famous sap industrialist. He was born into wealth and lived in the lap of luxury, never having to fend for himself. When he came of age, he soon was offered cushy ambassador positions that required little more than a silver tongue to convince the Commonwealth that he was keeping busy. He soon grew so proficient at doing nothing much at all that he started spending all of his family's riches to assert his fame and status. One day he attempted to pay off the wrong individual, and a particularly stern Commonwealth diplomat who promptly turned him in and had him sent downriver. Manly was very disappointed by all this, but soon saw in it an opportunity, for he knew well that in the inner circles there were those who had gone into exile and returned. Thanks to his connections, he tracked down the Chastity deep in Waking Wood. He finagled his way onto the Triumvirate using his well-worn skills. He in turn convinced himself that he would earn a position of great influence once he secured a way back to his home. He continues making hollow promises. Our plan is going to prevent such characters as Manly from coming to power. Mark my word. For now, we are prepared to seek the stars again, with adequate night's rest. You bid Walfrid a good night and take your leave. It is too late now to prepare for flight, so you arrange to depart first thing in the morning. So, let's go into the Book of Rights. Rights of... Both these are new pages, so let's read them. With these blackened nails do I hereby inscribe the rights of flame. The bylaws shall be written here in full. We, the 8, decree the rights attest of one's true worth in body, mind, and spirit, now until the stars abandon us. This shall be binding law within the downside. Those deemed worthy in the rights are to regain their freedom from the downside and return from whence they came. Exiles shall conduct the rights as one of 9 triumvirates, and look towards the stars for guidance of their path. Exiles shall bear this book as status. Essential structure. The essential structure of a right shall be as follows. Where chosen by the stars within the dark of night shall 2 triumvirates stand in opposition far enough afield beside their consecrated pyres, symbolizing their resolve. In each triumvirate, the 3 shall act as one to demonstrate their trust in one another, not just in themselves. Triumvirates shall endeavor to extinguish the pyre of their adversary, whose flames are only to be staunched through a celestial orb descended from the stars. Whosever pyre remains burning shall prevail. The triumvirates are to disperse. Yeah, I don't think I've read these. Because this is from the words of Salim Moore, the last of his name. We, the Eight, have seen the turning of the stars from now until the ending of our age. Heed their guidance and ours. The stars take many cyclic turns. The rites commence at their behest upon celestial landmarks, where the downsiders, greater titans, fell before the heavens. Bearing this, the book bestowed on your triumvirate, you, the reader, shall perceive under which stars you are to congregate. Follow where they lead, and your adversary shall, if either of you fails to appear, then neither of you walks the path. Whether you prevail or you fail, from that point the stars shall guide you on. The rite shall not commence unless the necessary preparations are complete. At a celestial landmark are the stars align. Exile shall conduct the rites bearing this book, of which there are but 40 copies, each bound in astral hide. Exile shall wear the sacred raiments, fashioned in our likeness at the summit of Mount Aladil. Their identities are to be concealed, for they shall represent us all. Exile shall set a metal sigil for their pyre and consecrate the grounds using the words, "The 8 scribes gave their freedom, so that we may yet have ours. The heavens shall respond when all is set." Jeez. During the rite, each triumvirate shall act as one, unringingly, I have no idea, and without question. The disobedient shall suffer banishment and permanent expulsion. Exiles shall move as of a single mind to demonstrate their faith and recognize that they, as we the 8, cannot prevail alone. Their worth shall be determined both by their actions and their peers. Triumvirates lacking experience in this may designate a reader whose focus on this book may help the others to coordinate. However, only those who shall conduct the rites firsthand shall walk the path toward enlightenment and become eligible to regain their freedom. At the appointed time, at the aligning of the stars, the heavens shall rain down upon the ground sufficiently prepared, and those the 2 opposing pyres shall be set ablaze. Thus shall commence the rite. Triumvirates are to protect their pyres as they would their lifeblood. Lifeblood itself is never to be shed before, during, or after any rite. Lest the disobeyer suffer permanent expulsion, exile is injury enough. The rite is an act of mercy. Fear not the purifying flame, plunge into it headlong and without fear, for you shall be protected by the stars themselves. Seek freedom in the flame. Jesus. Exiles bearing the raiments of this book reveal their hidden aura in the color of their flames. The aura is the exile's solitary weapon in the rites. Should one's adversaries cross one's aura, the adversary shall be banished. Banishment is fleeting nothingness. Seek the pyre's light and thus make your return. The exile's presence shapes the aura. Exiles gain greater auras while standing side by side with their triumvirates, for we gain strength together. Exiles may cast their aura through sheer force of focus on this book. So is this basically just a how-to manual for the rites? As 2 flame... Okay, you know what? In each rite we gain enlightenment whether we prevail or fail. Indeed, though failure, do we tend to learn the most valued lessons, provided we survive. None among us have prevailed without end. Exiles who walk the path of... Alright, you know what? I'm not going to read all of these, just because these are all... They all just kind of explain the concept of the game. You find Big Bertrude looking at the black wagon in a disapproving way. She fixes her gaze on you. Her expression does not change. Such a clutter added to this wagon since we looked upon it last, unsightly. We remember thee from our abode in flagging hands. Then thou must be the reading one to whom Sandalwood referred. She moves in close, studying you. You recall that the mere touch of a bog crone of the southern bogs can induce paralysis or worse. That one such as thee can extract meaning from that tome, 'twas a feat we wished to witness for ourselves. Thy flesh has seen but the smallest fraction of the years which ours withstood, and yet we are expected to believe that thou canst understand the Book of Rites. And then she backs away, for someone else has joined you. Hail, Bertrude, madam. Is everything to your liking at this time, or is there something more which you require? We have been unable to locate a supply of rotworm gizzard extract among thy belongings. Other than that, we shall lodge no complaint at present. It is possible that Volfred has a small supply among his possessions here. If you would care to accompany me, we may yet procure some. That would be agreeable with us. Then after you, madam. As they depart, you think you see the lone minstrel nod his head their way. Or your way, I think it was. Jeez. You know, with all the time of me moving back into my apartment, I totally forgot. It's Gamescom that's going on right now. You rise early that morning, though Bertrude is already awake. She scowls at you. Good morning, reader. Bertrude, I trust your stay has been not too uncomfortable. Nay, Sandalwood, the comforts of this place are not for us. Fly us forth from here to lower ground. Let us get on with all of this. The reader here shall do so. Once the group is ready, I thank you for your patience. And I guess let's take off. But yeah, like I was saying though, I totally forgot Gamescom. I've moved into my apartment and everything. Just totally spaced that Gamescom is going on right now. Soaring far above Sclorian shore, you notice Pamitha gazing down at the frozen cliffs below. That damned place down there, I like it least of all. I think among everywhere we've been, I'm thankful there's no reason to return. Reminds me of my home is all. The high-wing remnants, we all grew accustomed to the thinner air amid the cliffs that breaches the clouds above your commonwealth. But it was not the nicest place. Little wonder that my sisters settled for a rather warmer base of operations in this land, there by the nest of Trista. Anyway, I am pleased to have to spend as little time as possible near here. Let's fly on by and go about our business. Yeah. If you're interested in some Gamescom video, please come by. Keep checking out the channel. I'll definitely be doing some. Hey, what's the big idea, huh? Oh, it's you Nightwings coming to rub it in again, I guess. We Tempers, we've been trading flames with you for who knows how long. So what, you got us once or twice lately? Matter of time before we go and get you back. So you might want to keep that in mind next time you go messing with these horns, hear me? Now get out of my sky. Yeah. That makes me smile. Something about the strange island you see below draws your attention. Best to avert your gaze from the Isle of Kalamer, a forbidden island nestled in the Deathless Tempest. It has significance to the 8 scribes. Even the scribes themselves thought to avoid that place. Let us fly on. Aww. I'm gonna play. I can't remember if I said it, but if you're interested, please. Yeah. A pleasure to encounter you within the skies themselves, O Nightwings. They deliberately crashed into us, Father, yet you still address them in such a cordial manner. Now, Almer, I am certain that this was an honest accident, and it appears no lasting damage has been done. Please, take the helm and I shall go to start and pick up all the fallen artifacts which shook free from the walls after the impact. Perhaps some of these old heirlooms may yet be repaired with adhesive drawn from certain flora we may find along our long and difficult quest. Damn you Nightwings, you stay away from us. But yeah, if I can't remember if I said it, if you want to see some videos, I plan on doing some stuff in kind of exchange for the weekly show that I didn't do a couple days ago because I was moving, and also just because it's really hard to find time to talk during all of this because I'm also doing all the narration. So real quick, I'm not sure if this video will be out before or after, whatever. Go check out Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I will be playing that, or I have been playing it. There's probably a video on the channel. You know what I mean. I'm trying to talk in both tenses. Either way, go check out the series. As you soar above the waters of the warm Gulf, you notice Sir Gilman sidle up to you very slowly. We are very, 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 very high above the waters. If this knight is not mistaken, this knight's brethren lurk beneath the surface there, in numbers untold. Fortunately, if we were to come crashing to the surface now, this knight, why, he would receive a watery burial in the custom of his kind. Sorry if my microphone is picking that up. A Somebody's doing landscaping outside, and mowers driving by my windows. Bertrude slithers up to you as the black wagon passes through the skies above her former abode. Our kind who lurk below, they would scarce believe we soar above them now. We told them when Sandalwood came to fetch us that we shall not return for some time. Our most accomplished laborers, with whom we shared so many moons in exile, we trust that they shall carry forth the reputation of our services, for we taught them all we know. She seems almost nostalgic as she lists off various services provided at Big Bertrude's. Curses, bombs, potions, powders, cleaning reagents, sleep medicines, fungicides, seances. There we go. Big Bertrude's earned quite a name for herself throughout the downside for these and other things. When we are finished here, provided we do not return from whence we came, we shall return to our establishment and carry on our business there, for there is much demand. Jeez, this has been on. Oh, that's cool. I'm using the L and R1 buttons. We can also kind of sprint too. The south route across Jamur Valley is riddled with barren rock and bone. The lone minstrel suggests that a good supply of stardust may be found along this route. In Gluhive, Jadariel expresses an interest in exploring the pools along this route. Well, you touch down in the heart of Jamur Valley, where first you face the Fates and the Dissidents. You briefly wonder where they might be now and how they fare. You now have a little time before having to set forth by land. Let's check out the book before we talk to good old Sandalwood. The downside prairie first appears serene. It is not. The soil that accommodates only the region's brutish native vines and overbrush, the most likely food sources, proved poisonous. Thus we journeyed further north. The climate there grew fouler to my senses, though the courage of Muir found it amenable. These sprawling valleys poked with long evaporated lakes give evidence to the monstrosities which roam this land. We found this region's western edge to be more pleasant on the whole. Therein we found source of fresh water, whereas over to the east we found the edge of the land's most hideous decay. Volfred is poring over a copy of the Book of Rites as you approach. He looks up at you and smiles. The road to freedom, written in a book that hardly anyone believes exists, and fewer still can read and comprehend. Sometimes I marvel how absurd all of this is, my boy. Tell me something there. I've spent so much time considering the book, but known so few with whom I could discuss it in much detail. You've had some time to turn through it by now, so what do you think? Worth all the fuss? Volfred wants to know your thoughts on the Book of Rites. You have come across more than your fair share of books, but none quite like this. It is an archaic volume, dense with lore you are not concerned with at this point. You would rather reserve judgment until you have had more reading time. Yeah, again, the canon. I'd say I find it fascinating. You tell Volfred that the book has fascinated you, and that you have never seen anything quite like it. He nods slowly as you describe your experience with it. I share this sentiment. To have in our possession a genuine artifact from a forgotten time, how much of it is exactly true and how much of it is the scribe's retelling of events. I find it endlessly fascinating to consider, I must admit. He puts away his copy of the book with care. It is amazing that these volumes have survived for all this time, I think. Whatever they are made of has withstood the ravaging effects of time quite well. And the ideas that they're contained, they remain rather provocative as well. To think that the Commonwealth disavows of the existence of this book despite official recognition of the 8 scribes. Jeez, I'm sorry. I'm getting the hiccups. Although the reasons why are in there, written plain. How fascinating that its secrets have been kept for all this time. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me for my extracurricular interests in its teachings. I used to teach a version of its history. To have access to the real thing has brought me some small pleasure. Let us be certain to preserve the volumes for whomever shall be next to use them. He turns his attention to other matters and bids you a good afternoon. Let's explore Glue Hive. You end up spending part of the day with Jadariel exploring the area surrounding your wagon. You learn this area used to be a swimming hole many years ago. These waters are poisonous, but the curs who gathered here, they swam regardless. Your lasting memory of the place is standing by the shore, imagining the feel of the water. As you head back in silence, you consider which of your vocations to pursue. Forage for resources. A small global bonus. Let's mentor a companion. Let's keep boosting our enlightenment. And definitely want to start leveling up Bertrude. Very well then, educate us if thou canst. You and Bertrude review the observations you have made thus far about the various triumvirates you have confronted on your journey. She has keen insights about some of them. Thus does our grasp of ancient sorceries grow ever stronger still. See here. Passions of the Wild Witch. Rites masteries, enhancing a crone's ability to recover against all odds. Molten Milites, dour disposition, belied her unyielding determination to gain mastery in all things. Sorceries of the Southern Bogs. Rites masteries, enhancing a crone's ability to press her advantage. Those who withstood Milites' teaching long kept prodding at the edges of their understanding. So let's see here. Hex of Victory. While Bertrude's Pyre has more than the adversary, she deals an additional 5 damage, while Bertrude's Pyre has less. Ooh. Honestly, I could pick up both skills and end up doing both, but I'll take Hex of Victory for right now. Those who confront us. Jeez. We shall give increasing reasons to beware. I apologize for the mower in the background, guys. My windows are closed, my doors are closed, and everything, and I can't get. It's literally the dude is right outside my window. Let's see here. I oftentimes think the carapace of the Hive Titan Belanthius shall be an everlasting blemish on our almost splendid bit of land, but Jamur in his brashness felled the monster with a certain flare. Then the moon shone through the ridges of the massive carapace and shined upon the pooling ichor, turning it into the freshest nectar ever to be tasted. The spring shall flow eternally, and those who walk within it shall experience the resplendent glory of the land. The stars began to fall there in the spring with regularity, and we now know how soon again that they shall do so, and we wish for you to see it for yourself. Jeez, sorry, I'm muting myself constantly to cough. Man, I really want to get over whatever the hell was going on with me. Jadariel seems to be fidgeting with her horns. Bless these wretched things, reader. Have you any inkling as to how unwieldy they become with age? I long for the days when the wound in my leg was chief among my bodily concerns. Let's compliment her. You express regret. You express regret her horns yet cause her discomfort, though note you think they look very good on her for whatever consolation that provides. It is fortunate that my perpetual discomfort is of benefit to you. 10 years or so into my stay within this blasted place, I first felt protrusions from my skull. They remained hidden by my hair for quite some time, but I knew they would not last. We all heard much of demons in the Commonwealth. Sinners rightfully exiled would assume their rightful form. Thus, when my horns started to sprout, I took it as an indication that perhaps this was indeed the fate I deserved. She trails off a while. I know somewhat better now. anybody of our kind left down here long enough and left alive becomes like this. Something in the climate, difficult to say. A disease of sorts, but not a deadly one, if anything the opposite. If we live long enough, then we live longer still, like this, extending thus our sentence into exile. Sometimes I think these horns are here to symbolize my sins. Then surely they are going to recede if ever I return. On nights when these damned horns prevent my sleep, my thoughts inevitably stray to that hopeless idea. A naive hope which never leaves, despite prolonged attempts to rid myself of it. Horns are not worth the trouble, reader. She nods wryly as she heads out into the afternoon. Go see our buddy at the Squid Market. Hey guys, say whatever happened to that Shay you brought here? You brought in here sometimes. You know, that loopy one, frizzy hair, always handling all the merchandise. I liked her. Let's see here. Ooh, that's a lot of stardust. We'll hold on to it. Let's see here. Honestly, I don't think I need anything. Be seeing you around then, Let's commence the rite. Everything is prepared at night, and night is just beginning to take hold above the rocky pathways of the Spring of Jamur when Volfred gets your attention. Reader, I suppose you might remember our first meeting with the manly Tinderstouff. He would be mortified, of course, if you forgot. I would say that he's an embarrassment to my kind, but unfortunately, I've known many others like him. We are a discontented people, I suppose. Anyway, as we saw him, you might recall that I avoided him. We are not good acquaintances, or anything, but he knows enough people in high places that he could be harmful to our plan should he know of my involvement, and so Volfred dons his ritual mask. I shall have to be discreet here. As I am with the Nightwings once again, I can no longer hide from him outright. Perhaps, though, he shall take me for a common sap. Anyhow, it seems to me we have a right to conduct. Alright, let's see here. What's this new one do? Ooh, man, +8 quickness. Trying to think. I'm debating if I even want to. Nah, again, I can't remember their triumph well enough. I don't want to take the risk. Especially also because I'm going to be, I'm trying to think here. Be using 2 new people. I'm going to use Volfred and Bertrude.
The much vaunted reader has returned. And it would appear his ranks grow stronger. Consorting with the bog-crone Bertrude, are we? How very strange that you befriended her. At any rate, your adversaries in this rite shall be the Chastity. Put out their flame and walk the path to liberty.
Some of the Lupten.
My, what have we here? Why, the Nightwings, come to grace us with their presence once again. Are you perhaps intent upon humiliating us even more after last time? You sense Volfred reaching out to you. Reader, let us indulge him for the time. Perhaps he shall reveal something we can use to provide a disincentive for his meddling. Just let him keep on talking. I shall attempt to remain hidden. Excuse me, sorry. And the colors of those raiments, I mean, they are rather gaudy in this light. I have to say, though, I mean no offense at this, of course. So, do you suppose the rite is going to commence soon? As much as I enjoy our chats like this, I do have to get going soon. If you must know why, I'm expecting an important message from the other side. No less come dawn. I hear something is brewing out there, some sort of unrest, So yes, it's a very important message, sent all this way by one of those imp couriers, and I must say, those little things, their service are certainly not cheap. Though, I'm sure that I could get you a good deal on their service. If you wish perhaps to contact a loved one back home, All I ask, of course, is that you stand aside and let the chastity prevail, as well we ought. For I've a date with destiny not long from now upon the fall of Salim. He continues talking for some time until at last the rite is set to start.
Ligaratus.
Hold a moment, reader. The crone Bertrude slithers forward, wearing the raiments of the rites. Now that Bertrude is among our ranks, it would be best if you became familiar with her repertoire. You have no obligation to make use of her abilities, of course. Good, Bertrude. Please show the reader something of your aptitude. We expect thou shalt be soon inclined to bring our sorceries to bear. Long have we studied the rites of thine, let us show thee what we know of them thus far. Jesus.
Gertrude shows herself in full. Though I have to wonder what became of her accomplices. Of one accomplice in particular. You watch yourself around her, reader. None are sentenced into exile without sufficient cause.
Kind of like a shotgun. There we go. Good. Now then, reading one, know that our freedom is of little consequence to us. We side with ye because of Sandalwood, because of his plan. We shall aid ye in the rites, and we shall aid ye in the plan. Thus we are at thy disposal, and await thy bidding. My, look at this wonderful assembly of exiles, come from all different corners, Such a colorful retinue you Nightwings have. You know, I heard that the most preposterous rumor about you, that you are harboring an especially notorious criminal, one who has designs upon the Commonwealth itself. He looks right at Volfred. But I could not imagine such outlandish tales could possibly be true, Anyhow, I so would like to meet everyone here. Hello, good Nightwings. I am H. Manly Tinderstouff, and truly, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Manly has intruded on your privacy as you set to choosing your triumvirate. He could not be less welcome. He seems to be searching for someone in your ranks. Manly seems interested in your triumvirate. Perhaps a broken limb or two might cause Manly to think better of such antics next time. Manly seems to respond to behavior similar to his own. You could send him away. You suggest to Manly that perhaps he ought to check his own triumvirate in the key moments prior to the rite. Why, yes, of course. I was just taking the opportunity to bid all of you salutations, for I so enjoy greeting them, getting to meet my fellow exiles face to face like this. Yes. There may be rules against this type of thing, but who's counting, am I right? I'm sure the scribes wouldn't mind if they were here. Anyway, now that you mention it, I ought to go check on my wonderful colleagues. See you shortly, and good luck. Manly leaves, at last leaving you to focus on the rite again.
Shall conduct the rite.
Alright, let's see here. What's he got? Guarding sapling possesses his mastery. If manually is banished, a sapling shall automatically spawn near his pyre until he returns. Casting Sprout, Manly sapling spawns faster than usual and gains a larger aura. Alright. When preparing to fling the orb, the bearer charges up the speed increased by 40%. Righteous Flame, and after dousing the adversaries, they gain +8. And he has the same thing. And his is Sir Tidemount banishes an adversary, one of his banished allies instantly returns, and brief charge up time is okay. Wait a minute. Huh. That's cool. Alright, let's see here. Well, let's go with... Well, actually, we don't have a... I should have bought a trinket for her. Oh, well.
Bertrude.
We'll go with Bertrude.
Sir Gilman.
Send out our little buddy. And, we could go with even more speed, but... Honestly, I'm gonna send out Jadariel.
It is done.
This knight has much appreciation for foes with silver tongues. They are among his favorite kind to vanquish. Are you quite ready yet, O Nightwings? I doubt you are, because my colleagues of the Chastity and I, we have a trick or two we think shall take you by surprise. Just watch. Let's do it to it.
Begin.
Crap.
There. The Nightwings are first to strike the adversary's flame. The orb.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I can... Oh, jeez. I'm getting some weird lag.
Your demon
Oh, crap.
is banished. Sir Gilman plunges into the fire. There goes old Bertrude. Oh my word.
Perhaps you're merely toying with me, Well, all of this is very funny, but now stand aside and let old Manly wrap this up, won't you? Won't you?
That manly Tinderstaff has such a mind for politics. Would that he focused on the rights. No, so close. Beauteous!
Bam.
Now end the ceremony. And it is done. The Nightwings prevail again. Their hapless adversaries stood no chance. The right is complete.
My word, how could this happen to me? You deceitful, ignorant, utterly uncouth pack of fools, have you any idea what you've done? Walford watches the outburst in silence. Keep spouting off like that, Manly, and you shall reveal all we need to know. You harbor such a fear within your heart. There, don't you, coming from the aristocracy and now in exile? How they must speak of you. What would they think of you if you don't get out, or even if you do? Walford remains deep in thought, studying his adversary. There, I see now. Then Walford recedes into shadows. What? My head? Who? Oh. I believe there must be some mistake. I have to go. Ta-ta. Fine evening to you now. It's been a pleasure, genuinely so. Manly stumbles away in stupor. And there he goes. I've lifted certain burdens from his mind for a time. A bit of mercy for his sake, for my people's sake. As well, it should ensure he has no lasting memory of our encounter here, or running into me. Now, let's be off, before he catches up with us again.
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
God, now the guy outside working, I can't tell if he's... I can't tell if it's my air conditioning unit that's, like, really starting to spaz out or if it's the
Becomes manifest.
guy outside just trimming. I cannot tell. Or he's using a weed whacker. I think that's what it is. I think he's using a weed whacker. The strange designs of the 8 scribes, their everlasting sorceries, are strong within the lands, and we shall yet make further use of them, we think. Alright, let's see here. We have Vital Pounce. After Bertrude pounces at an adversary, she instantly recovers all her stamina. While slithering, Bertrude uses 50 less stamina and moves through. Oh, definitely want that.
Until the stars align.
After besting the chastity with great prowess, you return to the wagon to find Volfred and the lone minstrel in the midst of a conversation. Most strange that this one star should be illuminated now. This is not what I expected. Nor I, Volfred, sir. Then Volfred notices you there. Reader, Tariq and I observed a strange occurrence in the sky is all. It appears that the star of Kylemer Ropecaller is illuminated now. It is but another star, except our models and predictions of the cosmos did not anticipate this. Anyway, go see for yourself. I shall make the wagon ready in the meantime. You see only a single shining star illuminated far above. It is just as Volfred indicated. You regard the looming star. Kaelmer, the rogue star. See here. Oh, cool. We'll be going toe-to-toe with the distance. The rogue star burns bright over an isolated little island in the Sea of Souls. Barker is already on his way there. And then we are summoned to the island of Kaelmer, deep within the deathless tempest. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there before, Tariq? So long ago, I scarce recall the time, only the scent. It is the place from whence the creatures native to this land sprang forth. Reader, let's not concern ourselves with the superstitions held about that place. We'll set forth at dawn and soon see for ourselves what to make of it. Alright, we'll do these conversations, then we'll close out. I mean, this conversation, then we'll also read this book. Let's see here. Those bearing the name of Chastity all count themselves disciples of Lewis Sklorian, the 100 Minds, known firstly for his wisdom, but also cherished for his modesty, integrity, and kinship. Sklorian's priority in forming his triumvirate was to instill in all his subjects a deep-seated deference and respect for the rules governing the liberation cycle. The cycle of the rites needs to be respected, to be understood, and needs to be understood to be respected, Sklorian said. Thus the Chastity are emissaries of the cycle. Should they earn back their liberty, then they shall spread enlightenment itself, and all of us shall grow. Let's talk to Jadariel. You approach Jadariel, who seems to be busy explaining something to Sir Gilman. And so, feinting left against them proves to be reliable. They all lead with their right wings when they choose to strike. They are quick, but can leave themselves quite vulnerable. Such sage counsel, madam. This knight feels most emboldened. Should he ever again be forced to confront the High Wing remnant in single combat, pray you never shall. Being here, I suppose it is unlikely. She notices you then. Reader, the good knight and I were just comparing survival strategies we picked up on the blood border. Reminiscing on old times, it could be called. Indeed, the good Jadariel has volunteered to become this knight's master-at-arms, should we ever achieve our liberty together, and this knight humbly accepted. What? I said nothing. I said no such thing. I owe you nothing, worm. Ah, but the finest lessons are the harshest made, madam. This knight is overjoyed that you would thusly train him as your protege. Reader, spare me, please. You somehow manage to steer the subject back to military tactics. This knight is most impressed with your familiarity with the finer points of being sliced to ribbons by the High Wing remnants, Master Reader. Sir Gilman and Jadariel continue the conversation for some time. You sense they are in relatively good spirits, all things considered. Alright, everyone, like I said, I'm going to be calling it here. Just want to say thanks so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links to all that stuff down in the description below. Please remember to like, comment. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. And one last time, I'm sorry about all the background noise and all that. And I'll talk to you next time. But until then, I'm AJ Gels, the Seal Gaming Channel. Thanks for watching. I'm out.